Well, lads, we had games the weekend, and we had a lot of games the weekend. Now I'm going to have a quick look back on the senior, although we've no senior coming this weekend, but we'll just do a quick resume. And I will start where Jimmy was, because Jimmy was in Temple No. You were well received there.
Absolutely.
But having said that, for a long period of time, it looked like Temple No were going to win that game, and then they moved to the bench and they bring on their old-timers. Well, not the old-timers. Stephen O'Brien isn't that old. Paul is a bit older than him. And they contribute 5 points and they win the game. Discuss in less than 100 words.
Straight up, as you say, hospitality fantastic, weather fantastic, football absolutely beat the band. I loved every minute of it.
It's a good atmosphere there.
Fantastic.
Because they are rivals.
And it's one of those, right, they're rivals, but they're the best of friends rivals.
Yeah.
There's an awful lot of banter and stuff. Do you know what I mean? Wit, humour, no
badness.
There's no edge to it. We all know there are some clubs and they actually don't like each other.
Yeah.
Kenmare and Temple No like each other fine. They're more or less having the crack, to be honest with you. It's like, we've all been there in Irish pubs, like, you stir the pot just to see what happens, and, you know, there's absolutely no matter. It was like that, it was good crack, like.
Who played well?
I have to say, I thought both Crowleys, Brian Crowley, he scored 1-1, but he was involved in an awful lot more than that. My own man of the match would have been Gavin Crowley.
Playing really well, yeah.
Remember, he also, I won't say he was picking up Sean O'Shea. I'll go to an earlier word. In a sense, he was doing a bit of tagging. He was the one
Australian
scooping
tagging.
up the loose man. There you go.
Yeah.
Not in
Back to the
technique.
AFL.
He was marking.
Yeah.
I thought
Do you want to
Gavin,
discuss the AFL with me?
I thought Gavin Crowley was excellent, but I thought in particular Temple No just looked sharper. Do you know what I mean?
Temple No.
Oh yeah. Oh, for most of that game, Temple No.
Yeah.
I'll tell you right now, it's Spa, Temple No or Gaeltacht being relegated.
It's going to be ferocious battles.
I'm not sure can it be Temple No. Pat Spillane Jr. Always a good footballer. Jeez, you know, we like to think, as you say, Kerry is the pinnacle. You know, he'd bring a lot up to Sligo football. Christ, lads, he brought a lot of style back down with him, like.
Yeah. I was going to ask you about him because he played really well against Austin Stacks in the previous game that they lost. Yeah.
I was impressed. Jeez, he caught a ball over his head around the 45th minute. I mean,
Passed it to his father.
there were two of them around him, and he was kind of going up with two hands. And I was thinking, Pat, God love you, you're a bit overconfident there. You'd actually be better to try and break it and see what happens. And next thing, sure, I don't know. It was like he was jumping on the air. You know, he jumped, and it was almost like he suddenly rose again, got the two hands behind it. Super catch. You know, it's just one moment of skill, but moments like that will stand out for you.
And why did Temple No lose? Did they get tired?
I think they started to tire. I think there were 5 points clear.
10 to go.
We'd say 12 minutes to go.
Yeah.
It's an awful thing to say, and it could be a case of Jimmy adding 2 and 2 and getting 17. One great school either, like.
Yeah.
But I do think they kind of took the foot off the pedal a bit.
Yeah.
There was a little bit of right, lads. We're now 5 points clear. We're in a different phase of the game.
Protect the lead.
Shut
Did they
it,
sit
shut
back?
it, shut it down a bit.
Did they sit back?
They didn't go hiding, but they didn't go hunting with the same intensity.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, and I mean, for anyone who wasn't there,
Yeah.
even on Clubber, it was more dramatic in real life than it's even on Clubber. And
Oh,
Clubber,
please don't say
Clubber
that.
was very
till we
good.
lose our jobs.
I know, but I'm just saying. Paul O'Connor came on. Paul and Stephen came on within a minute of each other, and I'll be truthful, and the two of them know me well enough not to take any kind of offence. I thought it's a desperation move.
Yeah.
It's a throw of the dice. You've got Paul O'Connor.
Free transport.
He's got incredible skill. He might not, and I'm guessing just based on age, but he might not have the full hour of acceleration in him. But you throw him on when you're desperately looking for something, because he's a player who can give you something. He gave a lot more than something.
He was outstanding.
Absolutely stunning. Stunning. Just every time there was a bit of play, how they got to deal with this? Oh, yeah, they give it to Paul. Why is he passing it over? Oh, there is a man there. It was unreal.
Tom Murnane
5 points. 5 points
the
himself.
2 goals, did he?
Sorry, 5 points between Stephen and Paul.
Oh, yeah.
Tom Murnane got the 2 goals. First one, was Aidan. I can't remember who actually had the shot. It was good pressure on the kick out.
Yeah.
Kenmare weren't scoring very well. Sean O'Shea. I mean, for me, Sean O'Shea and Paul Gainey have been the players of at least the last 2 county championships. They're absolutely.
Yeah.
Sean O'Shea did not look himself to me.
Still not fit, you'd say?
And was off with a couple of kicks. Not a mile off, but wasn't the power in the game that I've seen him be in virtually every other game. I would suspect he's 90% of the Sean O'Shea he can be.
To conclude, do you think that Kenmare Shamrocks are good enough to reach the semi-finals? That obviously we'll preview it next week, but they'll be playing Milltown Castlemaine, isn't it? Yeah.
They won't get away with that performance again.
No. Okay.
They kind of pulled a surprise card.
Yeah, you were at the Crokes game, weren't you?
Yeah.
So Crokes, that was Rathmore. It was a good game, but a strange game, wasn't it? There was a lot of play, lateral. I think the Crokes at one stage had the ball for about 3 minutes, etc., etc. And I think they were deserving winners. I don't think Rathmore played up to the level that they can. What did you think?
Yeah, well, I've been given 3 Crokes games, so I'm a closet Crokes fan now at the moment. But, no, I've seen all their games.
They hate you.
And I do think if you give the Crokes space and time, they will murder you. I think Spa felt it in the first game, for a certain extent. Dingle definitely felt in the first 20 minutes down Dingle.
Yes.
And I think Rathmore decided we're not going to give them that. Now, the first half, the last day, there was a bit of a breeze for Crokes. Rathmore set up very well, but Crokes kicked 3 2-pointers, which was kind of the difference at half time.
Yeah.
Second half then, Rathmore did the same, but the Crokes just adapted their game a small bit. Like you said, it was a bit like the U-shape. They filled the corners and the wings and passed it around and tried to find the gaps. It wasn't the greatest game in the world, but the Crokes found a way to win the game. Now, I would say Rathmore played very well in it.
Yeah.
Huge loss to Rathmore is Shane Ryan. Not in goal, because they have a fine goalie now, William Casey.
Yeah.
Centre forward or full forward.
Yeah.
He would have been the difference for Rathmore the last day. He'd have definitely kicked a couple of points. He'd have posed a different threat to Crokes. But watching the Crokes now, I think they're in good shape. I think they can play different ways.
Yeah.
Lesser known guys playing very well for him.
Yes.
Michal Burns now was man the match the last day.
Yeah.
Mark O'Shea the second day. And the first day, the name is who was man the match. The second day the first day against Spa. 3 different men the match.
Charlie Keating.
Absolutely.
So you're looking there at Kerry Panlis playing well for him.
Yeah.
So
Evan Looney was outstanding.
Outstanding, yeah. I mean, no.
How was Cathal Ryan for Rathmore?
Cathal Ryan played very well. Looked very fit actually. I haven't seen him look that fit in a long, long time.
He definitely looks like a player that's going to push for inclusion in the Kerry squad at the start of next year.
Keane McMahon is the leading scorer in the club championship at the moment, my stats tell me.
And going under the radar.
And going under the radar. You didn't give him man the match any of the weeks.
Well, you picked the man the match one of the weeks, Mort, by the way. But no, Keane tries and fast ball in, like every corner forward. Give him the ball fast. He's very deceptive. He can jink. He can kick his 2-pointers like he did the last day. He got 2 goals another day against Dingle. Keane playing very, very well. Was a Kerry minor and Kerry 20, as far as I know. So he will progress on, and definitely Crokes have found another cute corner forward.
Right. So Dingle, you were at Dingle and
Spa.
Tell us about that. That was.
Absolutely brilliant game of football. One of the best I've seen so far in the whole championship. Like, there was a lot on the line going into the game, so you would have forgiven either team for maybe being a bit cautious in their approach, because nobody wants to finish bottom of the table and go into the relegation playoffs. But it wasn't a game like that at all. The weather was perfect. Spa was in great condition. Dingle came with as strong a squad as they possibly could, and from start to finish it was just superb. Dingle kind of led at half time by 3 points. There was a mistake on a short kick out and Dingle scored a goal where Tom Sullivan just beat Shea O'Mara to it and had a tap-in goal. But Shea O'Mara more than made it up to Spa afterwards. He stopped at least 3 balls. At least 3 balls that were going over the bar in the second half. Spa played superb football, led by Dan O'Donoghue and Dara Moynihan and Evan Cronin. The 3 of them really were exceptional.
Great to see Dara.
Dara is flying at the moment, playing really well, got a goal, took a brilliant finish. But Dan O'Donoghue is the real heart and soul of that Spa team at the moment. He's arguably back to the form that got him on the Kerry team at the start of 2022. People forget he was the most unluckiest player that season because he was nailed on cornerback after those first 3 or 4 league matches. Got a bad injury, missed it. Graham O'Sullivan came in, the rest is history. Kerry won the All-Ireland, Dan wasn't there. Could have been him in that number 2 jersey that year. He's playing really well now. When it came down to it, in the very end, Spa went a point ahead. Lovely free from Joey McCarthy. Time was nearly up. Dingle now were under the cosh. Big time. And then the class of Dylan Ganey just stepped up to the plate. I know he hadn't been at his best probably since the All-Ireland quarter-final against Tyrone, but he really, really stood up on Sunday. 7 points from play. He got the equaliser and then he kicked the 2-pointer which won the game for Dingle. Spa had one last chance. They had to try and throw it in around the house, go for a goal. It was fisted over the bar. Dingle will be absolutely delighted. They're in the best position possible of any of the teams if you're looking at the Bishop Moynihan. Forget about the senior club. They can't win it. They can't be relegated. But 6 weeks to fine-tune their preparations. They got a full game into Barrydan. They got 20 minutes into Conor Ganey. They got 10 minutes into Matthew Flaherty.
And a full match again for Paul.
And a full match again for Paul. That's 3 in a row, full matches. Flying. They can go into
the All-Ireland.
They can go into the long grass, Dingle, and prepare behind the shadows, no prying eyes. When they come out at the start of October, be very afraid.
Be very afraid. John, I was talking to someone and they were telling me Gael were heading to Ungailtook. They had to win by 4. 3 would get them a tie, and then to depend on scores for and all this carry on. But anyway, they were heading back, and on the cars obviously they had, and they were following it. And at one stage, Dingle were behind, as you know, and then later in the piece, Temple No were 5 points clear. So they were thinking to themselves, hang on a second, unless we win this, we're going to end up in a playoff with Dingle and Kinnair Shamrocks.
Oh yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Talk about it. Yeah, that was really like they were thinking that, like they were like, you know.
And that would have been the nightmare of all nightmares.
A total nightmare after they thrown away the game against in my opinion, thrown it away. But anyway, they got back and they played in Gaeltacht, and they got a go. Jack Barry got injured again. Now you're talking about clubs and inter-county and injuries, etc. And we didn't get onto it today. We'll get to another day again. But like Diarmid, this is the second year now, but particularly this year, Diarmid O'Connor got injured the week before Kerry and missed the All-Ireland, and now he's missing for his club. And like last year, he was able to play for his club, and he got into the final. They were beaten by the Crokes after. They beat Dingle along the way, and they beat Rathmore along the way, and they beat Stax. On that Friday night we were at that. They had some scouts. I think Nabil are going under the radar now. Last Sunday, Stefan had a massive game at midfield, particularly in the second half. Completely dominated, fielded the ball, kicked the point, laid on a goal for Liam Cooper. Now it is alleged, Liam Cooper, who's the Gooch's nephew, obviously Vince's son, that when he got the ball, he beat the keeper but because it wasn't the angle he wanted to, he went around the keeper a second time and put it into the corner. But that would be typical Gooch, that would be typical Cooper. So he got that goal, which was actually clincher, put him 4 or 5 points clear. But I would maintain, John, you've seen them, they have a very good defence. Enda O'Connor is outstanding. Owen Doody, their keeper, Keith O'Leary, playing very well. They also have, of course,
Damien Burke is back.
Damien Burke is back. And then you have Fergal Barry, and then Andrew Barry. When you see Fergal Barry and Andrew Barry picked at midfield, you know, one of them is 5'9", the other one is 5'10". And Jack Barry is a 6-foot+ man. He's on the side, and he went off after 20. Rory Hennepin came on, Tom's son, and he got the goal just before half time. That really gave him. And in the second half, the likes of Dan Goggin and these guys were really able to take it forward. Now, so they went from nervousness in the car and wondering, oh my God, where are we going? Where are we get? Kinmare will be beaten if
now they're in the semi-final after getting the bye.
Into straight to the semi-final. It's not like winning the lotto, John.
And they're without Diarmid and without Oisin Mansell.
Yes, and Jack.
Yeah, and Jack. Like going down to Galleries, you would say it was advantage Gaeltacht, to be fair.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
you predicted Gaeltacht.
But it's
when
typical.
You gave no chance.
This is like we saw last year. They went from game to game in that championship last year with Diarmid O'Connor carrying one hand.
Yeah.
And they got to the final. Playing some outstanding football.
Yes.
But the guys you mentioned there, but I think up front, Cooper, he is the difference. Because he is scoring for them. They were creating a lot of chances. And defensively great set up around the middle, they'd get enough of ball, but it was to punish it above.
Jimmy, stay quite a minute.
And with the likes of Dan Goggin now and Cooper inside, like he will score, and that is the difference. That's 5 or 6 points in a game is a crucial, and he has the eye for a goal as well.
And Jack Sheehan and
exactly.
those guys come on, James O'Connor, James even
the Barrys are playing. They're so consistent. Andrew, like he's
Andrew is one of the most consistent players in Kerry, lads.
The sign of a very good player is time on the ball, I think, always.
Yeah.
And when Andrew Barry gets it, and there's players around, he seems to have plenty of time to make up his mind.
Do you know what it is? Do you know what it is as well? On the contrary, and it's the way that Jimmy has mentioned the performance of Temple No, and I mentioned the Spa display on Sunday. It's a very worrying result for Gaeltacht.
Yeah.
Because on their home patch in Galleries, after winning their opening match, they only scored 9 points. They lost. They finished bottom of the group. Now they're going into a relegation playoff against Temple No, who you said were absolutely flying, and knowing that if they don't win against Temple No, they're playing Spa, who to me on Sunday don't look like a team who are going to be relegated.
Don't say that.
And I think Aidan Welch went off with an injury the last day.
Yeah,
huge loss, massive loss.
Yeah. So basically, would you give? They're in the semi-finals now. We'll be talking about next week. They're in there, obviously it's a bye. Not to be written off, I'd say.
No doubt about it, not to be written off.
Rooney, he goes around with a notebook, and he's loads of things written in a notebook. Because I was supposed to get that job, and I said that, look, I leave it to Donald. It would be a fright to go in there.
Wouldn't they look here?
Would Donald be any good at this, Mort, would he?
No, Donald was going to take this. No, but what would have happened was they wanted a father-like figure and an inspirational figure in the dressing room. That's why they asked me. Right. What do you think, Jimmy?
I want to make the point with Nigel when you were talking about Liam Cooper.
Speak up there. No,
we made the point several times on this podcast last year and the year before.
Yeah.
Nigel had great footballers. Their top scorer was Diarmid O'Connor. And that was killing them. You know, so
Darren Devine might have ran
get
close,
those
but
couple
I
of
hear
points.
you.
When it comes to Gaeltacht, you think about it, you go back over the last couple of years when Gaeltacht are in trouble, when they're really in trouble, they can pull it out. They're backs to the wall, hang in there, stay alive team, big men, the 2-pointers, like you say, Cahill with those 2-pointers. I look at the 3 teams going down. No, obviously, I'm Spawn, I'm not going to pretend I'm not. I do feel we were unlucky in the group draw, really, in who we got. And we've actually played very well. But we've only one chance. Temple No and Gaeltacht. Honest to God, lads, it can be any team out of the 3.
Yeah.
But I'll make the point. from a neutral perspective, is this not exactly what you want?
Yeah.
You know, that's
Spa going down, is it?
Well, listen. We might die with our boots on, but we won't die alone.
Right.
Cowboy reference for those who wonder.
All right. Intermediate championship, lads. Kerry Petroleum Intermediate Championship. What a last 8 we've got, John O'Dowd. Where were you? You were in Beaufort, weren't you?
Oh, myself and John were in Beaufort on Saturday
John,
evening.
In Strand Road.
And
Yeah,
Strand
in
Road.
Strand
as well.
Road, yeah.
Strand Road. So I'll get you Beaufort and I'll get John Strand Road because John likes Strand Road.
Beaufort, it was very similar to their first match against Glenflesk. They were absolutely brilliant. They killed the game off early. It was done and dusted by half time. Cairns Rallies had no chance. I think they had a bit of a hangover for the middle game against Castle Island Desmonds because they just got the news of Sean O'Brien and the Crusade. So it obviously put a bit of dampener on the spirits within the squad, but they came out rejuvenated against Cairns Rallies at the weekend. It was always going to be a tough game for Cairns Rallies. They don't really have the squad depth right now to be challenging, even at intermediate level. And Beaufort, Kieran Kennedy and Liam Carey, if there are 2 more consistent players in the Intermediate Championship over the first 3 matches, I've yet to see them. Maybe Owen Clifford for Lown Rangers is up there as well, and there's obviously 1 or 2 players for other teams. But Kieran Kennedy has 5 goals and 10 points, all from play in 3 matches. Carey has 14 points, all from play. Their handprints are over everything that Beaufort are doing. They're in really good form, but now, for Beaufort and for all the teams, but especially Beaufort, it'll all come down to the knockout stages. What can they produce when the pressure is on, starting this weekend at home to, as Enda will tell us, a very, very dangerous John Mitchell's team. That's going to be the real test of Beaufort.
Enda, tell us how good or how bad John Mitchell's were against Kilcommon.
Yeah, we were up there last weekend, myself and myself. So some of us climbed the ladder, others didn't, but we weren't there. But no, all jokes aside, no, I was very
well grounded.
I hadn't seen Mitchell's play for a while with divisions and stuff like that. I was very, very impressed with him. Like the 3 White brothers, obviously, one of them is injured now.
Paddy
went
that
off.
could be.
But I thought they were very organised. I thought they were very intense.
Yeah.
Like, you know, John Mitchell's of old always had that little bit of aggression.
Yeah.
They had a lot of aggression the last day. They were very intense. Forward line moved very, very well. Very, very impressed with Keane Holden centre forward.
And the full forward as well.
Darcy, yeah. But Keane was excellent. He
Yeah.
kind of came into the pockets, directed the play. They've 2 big
James Duggan.
midfielders in Bowler and Shane O'Connor.
Yeah.
And if I was asking Beaufort people, I'd be saying, lads, be very careful of these fellas, because if they get a sniff at all, they'll take it. They were very unlucky above in Kilcommon the last day.
Brendan Keeley's point.
Point,
Good pointer.
Yeah. And in fairness, I know we're going to Kilcommon soon. It was a very, very good match, and I think both teams will get a lot out of that game. Even though Mitchell's lost, I think they get a lot of encouragement, and I don't think they'll fear Beaufort.
They're the 2 biggest stories out of the Intermediate Championship so far. John Mitchell's and Ballymcgilligan coming up from Junior Premier. All the rest of the teams, you'd nearly expect them to be there because they've been perennial challengers over the last 4 or 5 seasons or whatever. But Mitchell's and Ballymac have been a breath of fresh air.
I agree with you. Going back to Beaufort, Mort, we saw it last night. Sean Coffey in goals. His kick-outs were exceptional. Fionn Kennedy out the wing. He's a real talent.
When he turned 18, 2 weeks ago.
But the way he varied the short and the long kick-out, and 1 ball in the second half went in, he pulled it from over the crossbar and he stood motionless for I don't know how long, and he sold to dummy, and he's the most laid-back keeper I've ever seen. But his presence,
massive.
and being back in goals is a huge boost to Beaufort.
Yeah,
because
he wasn't there last year.
No, he starts everything. Yeah. And Fionn Kennedy, but I thought their forwards. Enda was saying about the Mitchell's forwards. I thought the Beaufort forwards. Jack O'Connor was the only forward that didn't score. Liam Carey, I haven't seen him running as freely in a long time. Yeah. You know, Hallisey outside.
Hallisey with the freeze as well.
And Kieran Kennedy was outstanding. You know, he's kicking and his work rate. They were really, really impressive. And they ran their bench, no injuries.
And they have a vastly experienced manager now as well.
And Mike Breen at centre back was superb.
Yeah,
he controlled the game in the defence.
Yeah, so very, very, very promising from them. Keeley, Brendan Keeley, we spoke about it, but Paul O'Shea wasn't playing, and he should be back the weekend. he'll be huge for them, won't he?
Yeah, I think they need Paul back.
Yeah.
Just looking at their full forward line, look very sharp. Mikey Casey, the returning Kevin McCarthy, who's outstanding, and Philip Leary. But I do think that if Paul was there, they might put him into the half forward line, or it might free somebody up.
That gap.
And I think Kilcommon played very well the last day against a very good Mitchell's team. Defensively, they are very strong. Dara Callan, centre back. The other Dara behind them, young Stack, very good. They're very tenacious and they're very hard to beat at home because they have a great vocal support, they have a great crowd.
And then Keely's kick-outs, Brendan's
and I mean Brendan's free the last day there was unbelievable. Like, he was 55 metres out and he just kicked it like it was a 20-metre free.
What has Kevin McCarthy brought back, Enda?
What they did now the first half, the last day, is obviously Mitchell's learned a bit. They tied it up in the second half, but they kicked it into space. Kevin brought the bit of strength, the bit of cuteness, brought other fellas into it, knew when to kick his own score as well. Like, I mean, he's an inter-county player
as well,
and a very experienced one at that. And they've Mikey Casey there, who transferred in, very, very cute forward as well. You know, you'd know he was trained by the Crokes. He was able to. I
think if I remember back to 2017, I think it was, Kerry won the National League final with a victory over Dublin, and Jack Barry was marking Brian Fenton that day and did a great job. But Kevin was starting on that Kerry team that day. You know?
No, he's very good. His moves, I thought, and he's not selfish either. He gave the ball to Philip O'Leary for the goal, who came in the corner, and great vision and speed and pace. If you give them the ball first, it's very hard. In the second half, they tend to crowd him out, and a lot of ball wasn't going into the forward line, to the inside line. So Mitchell's kind of decided to do the Mayo thing, and 2 or 3 of them came around him and didn't allow them to do the same with Mikey Casey, which led to the free out, which they took too quickly, didn't mind it. And Darcy got it back to Kieran Murphy, who
you were there the week before, John, for Kilcommon and Fireys.
He came on against Fireys. They were finding it difficult to get possession, but his movement above, and he was available. He was the one man that was available for the kick, for the pass, and he, like you said, he brought other guys into it, able to mix it as well. He's able to win with the challenge, you know, and he's a good scorer, so he's a huge plus for them.
Now the team who are, along with Beaufort, I suppose most fancied, were our Fossa, and Fossa, which I've said correctly for once. Fossa were too good for Ballymackelligot. Ballymackelligot played very well, to be fair to them. Although they went well behind, they kept going. 10 minutes into the second half, they were 119 to 7 points down. That's 15 points, isn't it? 15 points down with 20 minutes to go. So the game was effectively over. But they kept it and they got it back to 6. Now, a few things that stood out to me was Paddy Clifford is absolutely crucial to in leadership and in positioning players. Ted O'Gorman got man of the match. He was excellent. But anytime Ted strayed out of where he should be, Paddy reminded him, Ted, stay in your position. That kind of work. He kicked a 2-pointer in the second half and he ran straight through, which was unbelievable. Now David was well marked or tagged in Jimmy's word, tagged by
I took it off John, but no, not a word to John. Like.
Now he was involved in the goal, although I reckon it was in the square, but it doesn't matter. He was involved in the goal. He got inside him, and from the thing he hand passed it across. But I think the guy was waiting inside to put it in the back of the back of the net. But he only got 2 points from play. He got 2 massive 2-point frees in the second half. We pushed him clear.
But that's trademark David on a day where Fossa are comfortable and he doesn't need to turn on the style. He'd prefer other players to be getting the limelight on a day like that.
Think about the amount of times that Kerry got to the All-Ireland final and they look back and, God, you know, I mean, Kerry beat Cork fairly handy there in the Munster final. David Clifford didn't do an awful lot, did he? Every single time.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, he just hasn't cut loose yet.
You do remember the Guinegulla game? The Guinegulla did very well in the first half, and then Clifford came out around the 40 and got
because his team needed him
and got 4 2-point.
I actually said it to Fossum, and we were talking down below in Glenby. because I won't lie to you, I have great respect for Glenbeigh, but they know themselves that wasn't a competitive match, and that was a danger for Fossa. Glenbeigh are a great club, they're fine people, but they did not, for the first 2 games, they were toothless.
Yeah.
And they know I'm only telling the truth. I'm not saying it to hurt them in any way.
Coach and Ford through their defence.
They
brought back down Sullivan, he made all the difference.
I think it was 3-10 to 3 points at half time.
If you're not up to the intermediate championship, you're going to be done. That's it. If you're going to be found out.
If you're playing games like that, it's actually going to blunt your own edge. It's doing you no favours. I said to a Fossa man down there, that first half against Guinea-Gwilla, that's the best thing that could happen to you, and that's what you need more.
The 2-pointer before half time for Guinea-Gwilla, like, they ran off the field. They were on top of their game, and like you said.
But getting back to the Fossa game, Ballymac, they're really, like, if you look even at their defence, like Owen Giles inside in the back, Dan O'Shea is a good full back, and then Dylan Dunn in the half back line, very good, and Ty Brick. Ty got one of the goals. He was up front at that stage. He's the number 6. But the real man, they're missing Ado. They're missing Aidan Green, definitely.
And is Martin McKivergan out for this weekend?
Yeah, I was talking to his dad in the car.
They're 2 massive losses if they're unavailable.
Martin is gone. He had surgery on a shoulder injury, which the dad said he had himself. He was plagued through his career with shoulder injuries, and it seems to be hereditary. The son has it now.
BallymacGilligan will go to Kilcommon on Saturday.
Jack was unreal again.
Donald Daly.
Donald Daly. Donald, like, he got wonderful. But Donald's ability to feel the ball for the size of him now, he's not a tall lad, and his game sense, etc. It was just that Fossa had the points on the board, and they were able to drop back, and the likes of Paddy was back covering as well. But there's Fossa, what some people call the domestiques, other than the Clifford brothers, etc. Owen Talbot and these guys, they can play.
Yeah,
and who's very good? Young Jack Hallisey.
I was just going to say he
was marking Jack Joy, and he kept Jack Joy. I don't think Jack Joy scored from play.
The biggest boost for Fossa this year is some of the young players that are coming through the system.
Fionn Doyle came in.
Fionn Doyle, Jack Hallisey, Ted O'Gorman's getting better, Rian Colleran's getting better, Mark Kennelly, big tall man in the middle of the field. That's the biggest boost for Fossa.
He was very good because they've Dan Ryan in as well, and Keane O'Shea, Matt Rainey,
a lot of big men.
He came on.
And sometimes when you have 2 good players as Paddy and David are in the team, the rest of the team could say, or should they win it for us? But they're actually doing the opposite. They're actually up in their own game as well.
Beaufort and Kensal before I go to the most horrible result of all, the one that hurt me most.
Lone Rangers and Legion, you mean?
Yes. Beaufort and Kensal.
We did that one.
Poor.
We did Beaufort and Rahaleys. Rahaleys, they struggled, John, didn't they?
They started well, John, didn't they?
Yeah.
Tomas Kennedy and they were Conor
Harry
Hayes
John Keane started all right.
And O'Connor, they were moving well. But after that, when Beaufort settled, there was only one team in it.
Right, so what about Direen, Killarney Legion 210, Lone Rangers 322? But that doesn't tell the whole story. Was it level at half time?
No, there was only 3 points in it at half time. Legion actually went ahead when Rob Lean got a goal. Lone Rangers came back, they got a goal of their own, and they led by 3 points at half time, 1-8 to 1-5. But the game was well and truly up for grabs at that stage. Legion would have went into the dressing room knowing that Listowel Emmets were hammering St Mary's down in Carrickfinn, so they knew coming out for the second half that only a win would give them any opportunity of advancing to the knockout stages. But in the second half, they were ripped asunder. Lone Rangers were just on a different level. It was a very disappointing home performance in front of their own fans, you'd have to say, in the second half by Killarney Legion. They just weren't able for it. Lone Rangers dominated. Adam O'Neill, superb. Finished with 7 points, I think it was, but he ran them ragged, like just.
Owen Clifford was excellent.
Owen Clifford,
Owen Clifford is county standard.
He was superb all through.
And has been for 3 years.
And Garrod Hassett and Cleary. Their work, but the movement up front was incredible, and they
tore. Is a kind of in the pocket, and he makes scores.
They opened up the Legion defence and the pace they went at them at, but their kick passing was unbelievable.
Yeah, David Mangan at centre back
David
as
Mangan,
well. Big influence. He's finally free from injury for one season because he's a very good defender, but being plagued by injuries.
The likes of Keane Gamble now, Jonathan Lyne, they tried right to the very end, and James O'Donoghue came on,
kicked a point.
They did all they could, which was just one of those days.
What about my cousins Danny and Dennis Sheehan? How did they play?
It was a difficult enough afternoon for an awful lot of the Legion players because one of the Sheehans was trying to mark Adam O'Neill, which was a very difficult task because they gave a lot of space. There was a lot of space in front of the full back line. They were a little bit exposed, to be fair, because there were times it was one-on-one ball going in and Adam O'Neill was too pacey, you know.
I think the week before Mort was the one out in Listowel for the Legion.
You said it at the time.
I said it. You know, they didn't match the physicality of Listowel limits. Conditions weren't great, and they didn't match it. And you know, Listowel were hurting from the Long Rangers game. It's all about momentum, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Enda, be remiss not to ask. Disappointing is it from it? Obviously disappointing when they don't make the quarterfinals. But what's the mood in the club? Is it just you're going through a phase, or what's?
Yeah, I suppose. Look, we came down from senior in 21, and since then we've got the semi-finals every year. This is probably the first year now that we've a shot. Knocking out the group. But I looked through the team and I've been in the dressing room with them fellas as well, and there was great servants in there as well. And maybe we're at a stage where we maybe have fellas of one age and we fellas of another age, and we just have to maybe just bide our time, maybe sit into intermediate for a couple of years and rebuild. Because we have a good minor team and a good under 16 team coming.
Do you know what we have to say? Jimmy mentioned it in a very good article in the Caravan this week about the volunteerism. It was a super article, it should be read. We entered the ground last week, and the pride in the Legion, the facilities they have, fantastic. But at half time, under 10s, I don't know how many were there, but Diarmuid O'Donoghue was there with them. A man that played at the highest level. When you have guys like that involved, I saw Sean Keane going in and many more, I shouldn't be mentioning names, but you know, Peter O'Leary. When all these guys are there and put the shoulder to the wheel, there's no fear of the Legion going forward.
Absolutely.
And the facilities are second to none. Credit.
Absolutely.
To be fair now.
Well said.
They were
Very
complimented
well
their facilities at the county board meeting on Tuesday night by Derry Murphy for some strange reason. Not strange reason that the facilities, I don't know how it was during the debate about
maybe sidestepping other stuff.
About Kerry injury. Yes, I think it was. I think it was a diversionary tactic. But go to the brown envelope that Enda gave you to say that.
No, but you have to recognise, and we've been around at a lot of games, all of us doing them. But the facilities in this county, they're unbelievable. Some are better than others, obviously.
It goes back to something I said earlier, and a team I would always go back to: community organisation, not a corporation.
That'll be on your headstone.
Not tomorrow now, not anytime soon.
I'd say it'll be a case of burn it, lads, and scatter it to the winds.
The intermediate quarterfinals, we have, I'm going to start reverse. Sunday, we have Fossa versus Listowel Emmets. Is this one where everybody expects Fossa to win, but there's a danger there? The four home teams are well fancied. They're odds on in most situations by the bookmakers, but there may be a surprise. Could there be a surprise in Fossa?
There could be a surprise in any of the games, because I think last year, I don't know, was it our great producer JC was saying that there might only have been two home wins and 2 away wins, and the 2 home wins were very lucky. We could easily have got 4 away wins. If you remember, Fossa got an away win, and was it Listowel Emmets nearly took Kilcummin out away from home, and obviously Guineguilla nearly went and won in Gallerus.
Oh God!
So,
I got drenched wet today. Was that today? I got wet.
Listowel Emmets will go into this game, as John says, with momentum. They have 2 wins in a row. They'll relish going into Fossa's backyard. They have Jojo Grimes chomping at the bit in the middle of the field. They have backs who we don't know what their matchups are going to be, but they have guys, the likes of Eddie Healy and Eddie Brown and Paul Walsh and Jack McGilligan and Micheál Kennedy. They have these guys who could match up with the Clifford brothers. Now, it's not easy. It's going to be the most difficult task. They'll obviously need help, whoever gets the individual job. Listowel will maybe feel, John, can they get enough scores down the other end of the field? Like Darrell Lynch.
Midfield is another one.
Darrell Lynch and Sam Tarrant playing really well at the moment, kicking some great long-range scores, but you'd imagine Fossa will be saying, and Jerome Stack knows every Listowel Emmets player closely, being a Listowel Emmets club man at the end of the day, you know. So he'll be well aware of what they can produce. Banana skin definitely, but I still expect Fossa to win.
To me, in less than 50 words.
Listowel have as much heart and more than most. They will absolutely bring a battle, and they're going to lose by about 7.
Lose by about 7 after bringing a battle. You
I
built
just
up to Crescendo there.
Yeah.
I was
I'm sorry, but take out the Clifford brothers,
yeah.
and I still think the rest of Fossa are good enough and organised well enough and very fit.
So you don't want the
It'd
Clifford
be a
brothers being
3-point game. No, I'm saying put in the Clifford brothers.
Oh, put them in. All right.
No,
I'll ring
look
Jerome
at your
Stack.
calculation again.
Yeah.
I have no dog in the fight. But if I was inside the bookmakers, I'd be going, look, you know,
Yeah. Fossa is buying money, so
it's one of these, you make a fool of yourself when you're wrong.
we'll remind
But
you
that's
next week
that's how.
if you make a fool of yourself. Saturday.
Yeah, you would not.
Oh, sorry. Who do you think is going to win it?
Well, Fossa, I think he'll win.
Fossa,
yeah.
John?
Fossa
that's
favourites, Martin. I said this during the week as well. But
Yeah.
if there's to be a shock, this could be the one. Because if Listowel bring the same intensity.
Where are you from?
No, but I
Not
mean,
very.
I went in to see Legion Listowel,
Yeah.
and being straight and honest, I thought Legion would win the game
Yeah.
from what we'd seen. But the momentum they brought from Lone Rangers, but some of the tackling was ferocious. I don't know what you were there in.
Yeah.
It was like some of it was borderline, but
Yeah.
it was. John made a point. The Achilles heel could be up front. Brian Sweeney is playing very well, possession-wise. Aaron Kennelly, he's going well. They'll need more from those guys, but Fossa should win, but don't rule out a shock.
And what the player
that
Jojo
for-
Grimes is as well.
Absolutely
Yeah, yeah.
stunning
Outstanding.
player.
Yeah.
But the key thing for me is Fossa had that first half against Guineaguilla. If they didn't, I'd be saying you're absolutely spot on. I'd be a lot more cautious myself. That first half against Guineaguilla, I think,
The way they responded.
yeah, I think that's in them. I'd be very afraid because the 2 games since, with the greatest of respect, were not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
You know,
Yeah.
you weren't revving the engine to try and get the last few yards out of
They
it.
were back in Glimba because they need to get out of there quick. So they were revving the engines. There was a vintage rally or something back there. Do you remember that? Right, let's get on to the next one on my list here is Saturday. My favourite venue, Kilcummin. Kilcummin versus Ballymac. I'll leave that over to our Kilcummin expert, Enda.
Yeah, Kilcummin played very well against Mitchell's, got over by the skin of their teeth, but showed enough. And I think if Paul O'Shea is back, I think they'll take Ballymac, but not without a battle from Ballymac. I mean, Ballymac have the winning mentality this year after winning the All-Ireland. They're showed in their intermediate games they're willing to fight. And of course, in young Daly there and Jack Joy, I think they're the top scoring duo in the competition. So they will give them everything they can, but I think Kilcummin at home, and provided Paul O'Shea is back and they're able to load the bullets into that full forward line, I think Kilcummin will just about shade it.
John,
I'll go Ballymac.
you're going Ballymac.
I think even with
You'll go for an outsider. You hope that you'll be right and we'll be praised doing next week.
but even McKibben out, I think, like you said, the winning mentality, they're playing with no pressure this year because they had to win and get out of the Junior Premier. They did that. And a lot of people you talk to, well, Ballymac won the Juniors, you know, there's not much expected, but they're going along under the radar.
Yeah.
The game against Fossa, I wouldn't read too much into it because both teams are qualified.
Yeah.
Does home advantage mean a lot? Maybe
Not
not.
really.
Maybe not.
They're rested. Martin
I think home
McGilligan will be a
advantage
huge
goes.
loss. It'll be a huge loss.
It'll be a huge
What
loss.
do you think, Jimmy? Kilcummin now we're talking about.
I'll have to leave in a minute. The first thing I'll say is I would pay money anywhere to watch Kevin O'Gorman and Aidan Breen go up together. I know Aidan isn't there, and it's an awful shame. That's 2 old school, classy midfielders. I would love to see it. So,
Yeah.
all that said, again, you look at the comparative strengths. I just think too much has to fall Ballymac's way, and I have to say, I do think home venue, especially with the kind of support that Kilcummin bring, and they bring great support, it does make a difference. I would have to be looking for Kilcummin in this one.
I think all the pressure's on Kilcummin. There's no pressure on Ballymac going into this game, only that the pressure that they put on themselves to deliver. Kilcummin got to the semi-final last year and will feel that they could and maybe should have beaten Fossa in the semi-final, and they would have gone into the matchup with Gaeltacht and been confident. But I do think the losses of Brian and McKivergan are going to be maybe too much for Ballymac, Kilcummin to win.
Yeah, we'll move on with just 2 to go, and then we'll pause for a minute. Beaufort and John Mitchell's is on Sunday at 1 o'clock. Where I go, John Kennedy, Beaufort, you've seen him?
Beaufort, I haven't seen Mitchell's.
Yeah,
they've really improved. Like Enda said, they've brought it to another level. I think Beaufort are one of the favourites, and I think they'll justify that at home. I think they'll win.
Enda?
Yeah, Beaufort have got a bit of a rebooting under Peter Keane, and even though Mitchell's have improved a lot this year, I think Beaufort's know-how in the competition should get them over, although Beaufort people will tell you they can't play quarter-finals at home.
Yeah.
So if they're in trouble there, John Mitchell's will swoop on that, but I go for Beaufort.
Who would you go for, Jimmy?
I think that's the one.
You're a Peter Keane fan?
I think that's the one that's very tight to call. Beaufort are outstanding. I'd give Beaufort a nod, but I think
You'd
that...
be afraid of Mitchell's. Could be a shock.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, that's a possibility.
Tough game, high quality.
I agree with Enda. Like Beaufort are a bit worried about their quarter-final record on their home patch. That's something that they have to put an end to this Sunday. I think John Mitchell's are going to be a force to be reckoned with over the next 5 to 10 years. I do think this might be a year too soon for them. And if Paddy White is potentially out, that would be a real travesty for him as well, because the way he's playing. I think Beaufort should end their home hoodoo this week.
And the final one in the intermediate grade, the big one, and I'll be involved in the big one as always on Sunday. Long Rangers versus Glenflesk is on in Killorglin at 4 o'clock. I think the draws have been made after, haven't they, John?
Yeah, in Killorglin, yeah.
In Killorglin. Long Rangers, really, are they threatening to be a team that could be there in the final? They're playing well.
Under new management, you know, Dennis Cleary in there, and he's James Sheehan and Shannon writing as coach. I think they're moving very well. Their second half performance last week, you know, this is not a bad Legion team, and they're
high scoring.
You know, they're high scoring. They're being led, as we said, by Owen Clifford, then Mangan at centre back, and I think Seeley in the middle of the field. They're very balanced, but up front, they're real dangerous. From and young Adam O'Neill is he's the player of the championship so far.
He's 214 scored already.
Yeah, outstanding
in 3 games.
And you just feel someone like Stephen Gannon and Gerard Hassett. There's going to be a game where they totally erupt as well, and they might take some of the spotlight off Adam O'Neill. Maybe starting this weekend.
But what I like about him, Mort, is it happened in the Listowel game with young O'Neill. He missed a few early on, dropped one into the goalie, didn't drop the head. The last day Gannon had a chance of a goal, probably should have scored it. Did he drop the head? He didn't. They kept going. Very positive, and that's coming from the line.
So we're kind of all saying Lone Rangers, are we?
If I was to go with a banana skin for an away victory, this would be the one I would go for. And it might be funny to say it because Glenflesk just epitomise inconsistency. Bad performance, good performance, bad performance. But if they turn up and give a good performance, Glenflesk could take Lone Rangers. I'll go with Lone Rangers just because they're more reliable at the moment, but that would be my surprise. If there was an away win, I would say Glenflesk.
In a strange way, I actually think Glenflesk have too many good players. Getting the mix right. For me, the talent is there, the effort is there, the heart is there, the balance in the team just has not clicked yet.
And obviously, just getting used to
if you don't click now, I'll be honest with you, there's always this thing of it comes down to the manager. All of those lads are playing together. long enough themselves, there comes a point where
Yeah.
I think there's collective responsibility in the dressing room. It doesn't all come down to the manager. No. I don't think Wayne has the mix right either. I'm not absolving managers of any responsibility. But you see where... So for me, if Glenflesk get it right, they absolutely can win this competition outright. If they don't, I mean, for me...
Glenflesk are to win the competition.
Glenflesk
Outright.
could win the competition outright. If they get that balance right, you look at the Roaches, Patrick, Darcy, Carl Cronin, Two O'Donoghue's, Chris
John Kelleher's playing great stuff.
back.
The raw material is there, yeah.
It's, you know, and I haven't even mentioned John Crowley or Luke Crowley. Do you know what I mean? That the players are there. Now, Mark Kelleher is a loss. No question, Mark Kelleher in goal. As you say, like Sean Coffey with Beaufort, keeper can be a foundation of a lot.
Who are you going for?
On this occasion, it's going to sound cowardly after all that big long speech. I'm going for Long Range.
Stop. Glenflesk could win it over Long Range. Do you realise that to be? Jimmy, on
I'm
that
saying they could.
bombshell, we're going to have to take a short break, and we'll be back shortly with the Premier Junior, and we might take a quick look at the Junior as well if we get a chance. So we'll be back shortly. And Kiel, talk about them. You were at their game last week.
Yeah, it was an interesting game against Waterville in Kiel on Saturday afternoon. Now, Kiel probably had their work done in the group beforehand. They had their 4 points collected. It was just about making sure that they sealed top spot, and they started off really well. They had 3 goals in the first half. Looked like the game was over at half time. Now, they were without some of their big players. You know, Keith Evans was tagged, but he didn't play. Liam Evans was tagged, but he only came on near the end. There was a couple of other first choice players. Thomas Ladden didn't play. So, but what I found was great was Waterville's spirit in the second half away from home. Like, Waterville don't have a big pick of players at the moment, but they really thundered into the game. They had a young lad, Owen Murphy, at full forward.
Big tall lad,
Big tall lad. He caused ferocious havoc for the Kiel full back line. Every time a high ball came in, he was setting up scores, he was scoring himself, and Waterville went ahead near the end. It was crazy, like no one could really believe what was happening. But Kiel, they had emptied the bench a bit, and in the end, the 2 substitutes, Cian Flynn got 2 points, and Liam Evans came on to get the insurance point. I think Kiel will be happy enough. They weren't near their best. They didn't risk any players that were carrying an injury. They were looking at bigger fish to fry, while Waterville, they avoided the relegation playoffs by virtue of the late goal against St. Pat's Blennerville. They were very competitive the last day. We'll give them encouragement going into the South Kerry Championship.
Drummond Pierce's, so Kiel are playing Drummond Pierce's in the quarter-final. John Kennedy, Drummond Pierce's, they were very unlucky against Churchill. It was 2 late goals that cost them. And
2 wins since.
And you know they've been well supported in the betting. Somebody knows something about them. But then Neil O'Shea is back, I think, isn't he?
Chris Farley's back.
Chris Farley's back, and obviously Graham is
Sullivan
playing very well.
Sullivan, another Kerry senior
panelist. So, like, they're not a team to be written off by any means. So they will face Kiel in Kiel on Saturday evening, and they won't fear them, I'd say, John.
No, it's a huge ask up to Kiel. They're one of the favourites, but you know the South Kerry men, they're tough campaigners down there. You know they've not big numbers. They have weathered the storm. Look, as you say, Niall O'Shea back. The O'Sullivan's leading by example. They're going to be tough. They'll put it up to them. Are they good enough to win it? I don't think they are. I think Kiel have. John mentioned there about the guys that were missing. There's a few injuries in the Kiel camp. If the injuries are right, Kiel will win. If they're not, it'll bring it a lot closer.
Yeah, and Enda, would you review on it, Kiel and Drummond?
Well, I've been privy, believe it or not, to a couple of Drummond training sessions. I won't say where they're training, but I have been there at the same time. And they have big numbers of training.
Coming home late?
No, going home early maybe.
Yes.
Big numbers of training. And actually they're training, as I see it from a distance, actually training very well and very strong and very hard. So I wouldn't rule out Drummond, as you say, for the players you've named there.
Yeah.
But they do look like, if you were looking for a training session to have energy, you see it in their training. So they obviously are taking it onto the pitch when they play. And I wouldn't rule them out against Kiel.
Right, so that's kind of Kiel to win, but wouldn't be surprised if Drummond ran them very close.
Two teams and two clubs that are big advocates of the Irish language as well. Yeah. Don't be surprised when you get your programme in Kiel on Saturday evening if both lineups are Oscaelga.
All right. Do you get a grant for that?
Don't know.
Right. So let's try and St. Sinnans. St. Sinnans must be really disappointed. Drawing with Castle Gregory, Keane O'Grady got the last minute equaliser, and that prevented him from getting home advantage.
For me, this is potentially the match of the weekend. Yeah. That it's potentially even better than any of the intermediate quarterfinals, because this is two absolute, genuine contenders for the ultimate honours having to meet each other. And you're dead right, Mort. St. Sinnans have to be absolutely fuming with themselves for what happened last weekend. At home, in Mount Cole, 10 points up at half-time against the Castle Gregory team missing Thomas O'Donnell. And just like we wish Sean O'Brien really well in his recovery, we have to do the same for Thomas, because it looks like, I don't think it's been fully confirmed yet, but that's the fear at this moment in time, that he's going to be ruled out for a lengthy period with a cruciate. But for St. Sinnans then to let that slip, draw the match, lose top spot, lose home advantage, and then get drawn away to Listry. It's a big blow. It's the exact opposite of the Nagale situation that you spoke about in the senior championship. And now St. Sinnans are right up against it, against a Listry team under John Evans, who are going really well.
Enda,
and of course, St. Sinnans a shark, Killian Trent as well.
I wonder, will he play this weekend?
Yeah, with the broken arm.
Broken finger, I think.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if he lines out this week.
Yeah, you'd know Listry isn't too far from Killarney, so you'd know a lot of the lads. And John Evans is reported or alleged to one time bought a suit off you. So what's the story with Listry and St. Sinnans?
Well, the one thing you know about John Evans is once he gets his teeth into a team and gets them going, that they are very hard to beat. And I think if we look at this year as a year two, they got promoted in the county league, and they're coming into this championship now, because I don't think you can approach a championship by fluting around in the county league and then turning it on.
Yeah.
And I think John took that approach with them. Yeah. I think I heard before some of the players thought they'd win the Premier Junior in the first year, but John said no, you have to build it. And you look at the county league now, he's bringing them through. And if you actually look at their forward line, it's actually very young and exciting as well too.
Yeah.
And I think Listry, much like Churchill, are coming here with young players with no fear, that are tearing into games. And of course you have the likes of Rory Murphy inside in the middle of it.
And Ronan Buckley's inspirational this year.
Who's kind of the father of the team, without saying he's old or anything, but he's kind of the spiritual leader. So I think it's a fascinating game, but I think Listry with home advantage. Yeah. I think their time is now.
Yeah. Do you know what John Evans' greatest claim to fame is? He went to the same school as I did in Killarney, and
he obviously stayed there a bit longer.
But no, he was a very good footballer at that age. He was huge, and he was the best footballer in that era in our school.
Very good referee in his day, actually.
Was he?
We played Aston Sachs one time in a minor match in Connolly Park, and he was the referee. No, very good referee, to be fair.
It's from a St. Sinnans perspective, this is a test that makes or breaks your season. Because if St. Sinnans, after the mess up they made last week, if they go to Listry and knock out one of the big challengers, they will feel that they're unstoppable.
And they have unfinished business
in this competition. And two penalty defeats back to back are the only reason St. Sinnans are out of the championship the last 2 years. So,
John, what do you think? You were close enough on the Kerry team, so you'd be forward to McCourt?
I'd agree with what was said. Last weekend could come back to haunt them. You know, going out to Listry is a huge ask, and this is a team that we had said earlier on, they're one of the teams that can win this championship. Conor Kennelly back, but Killian, like Enda said, if Killian Trent isn't playing, huge loss.
Yeah.
I think the John Evans factor, and the balanced squad that Listroy have, and they're going well, I give them the advantage. I think they'll win this one.
Very good. Castle Gregory and Owenascall. John, I think you're down there, the local West Kerry derby there. They'll probably beat the West Kerry team with a few Lisboa lads thrown in the tree them if there is a West Kerry team this year, because you've no Gaeltacht, obviously, and no Dingle. So that's an interesting one, because you're supposed to have, unless they change the rule, one intermediate team in your divisional team to be in the county championship. So you'd have to have one divisional, one intermediate team, and Owenascall aren't intermediate, and neither are Castle Gregory and neither are Lisboa. So that creates another issue. So
I would expect when it comes to the county championship, whether that rule is still there or maybe whether it is wavered in this situation or whatever, I would expect there to be a West Kerry team in the county championship, and it will probably just involve those 3 teams that you've mentioned there. But I do think they will be present. This game.
Thank you very much, Patrick O'Sullivan.
That's an opinion, not fact. This game is really, really fascinating. It's hard to call. I'm actually looking forward to going down and seeing Castle Gregory and Owenascall. To do what Castle Gregory did in the second half last week without Thomas O'Donnell, Cian O'Grady won 8 in the second half. He's just a machine. Like, you cannot give away frees inside 50 metres or he's going to put them away. And he can score from play. He's a lot of support from Maurice O'Connell and Paddy Fitzgerald. Paddy Fitzgerald, a very, very good footballer, was part of the Kerry under-20 panel this year but dislocated his shoulder, so couldn't play any part. He was another big loss, playing really, really well. Then you've Owenascall, who I saw against Ardfert, and they were absolutely superb. They've got really, really dangerous forwards with Carl Ferreter, Killian Falvey, James Crean, Jason Hickson is still there, Colin Moriarty, a full-back, really, really good player. This is like, it's a local derby. Anything can happen. Toss of a coin on the result.
Yeah, 232.
Castle Gregory are hard to beat at home, though.
Hard to beat at home. So would you give...
I'd give Castle Gregory the nod. It's a difficult place to play.
A man who was often in Castle Gregory in there, what would you say?
Lovely chips there on the chipper, actually. I was there one time, I
good.
forget the name of it, but the chips were the ace altogether. Obviously, Thomas O'Donnell is going to be a huge loss to Castle Gregory. Huge loss, because he's kind of one of their go-to men alongside Cian O'Grady. Owenascall, very much, just the good thing about the championships, maybe not too many people were talking about Owenascall at the start, yet here they are now. Killian Falvey, of course, was man of the match in the All-Ireland minor final the year he played. Has Glenflesh blood in him, in case you didn't know. Wow. Killian Falvey has Peggy Horn would be his, I think I'm standing correct here, I think Peggy Horn is his aunt.
Okay.
So Evan Horn is his
and
first
you're dead
cousin.
right, Listroy and Ardfert would have been the 2 favourites to come out of that group.
So it's for Owenascall, it's probably bonus territory, which sometimes you can play with a bit of a freedom. They'll enjoy the asset of a West Kerry derby. I'd nearly go for Owenascall in this just for the wreck of it. I think that the loss of Thomas O'Donnell could be big for Castle Gregory.
What do you think, John?
I'd agree with Enda. I think the loss of Thomas O'Donnell is huge. In spite of what they did last week against Sinnans, I think no pressure on Owenascall. A derby, and it takes a form of its own, local derbies. I'd give the nod to Owenascall in this one.
Yeah, actually, I would agree with you for once. I think Owenascall could win that one. The one I'm looking forward to getting very wet at is Churchill versus Dowd, Saturday evening, 5:30 in Churchill. I hope there aren't any scaffold or ladders or anything there, but hopefully there won't, because it's very high up, looking down on the pitch, and you have the ocean and the winds and rains blowing in and you, so it's a very pleasant spot.
I think the bookies have Churchill heavy favourites here, but I wouldn't necessarily go along with that. I think this will be a lot closer contest than maybe the bookies anticipate anyway, because Churchill have been a bit lucky in some of their games. They topped their group, but it was only 2 late goals against Drummond and 2 late goals in their last game. Was it at the weekend? Was it against Brosna? Yeah, Brosna, 2 late goals against Brosna at the weekend that gave them those victories. So that's obviously shown great spirit, that they never give up the ghost and they keep fighting all the way to the finish. But it doesn't show that they're so far ahead of the opposition that they can take Dowd for granted. And I'm sure Churchill won't, because any team that has Cormac Dillon, who's capable of scoring a a 2-5 or a 1-6 or a 1-7 on any particular day. And John will tell you, Dowd are a tough nut to crack. Some good young players, Ronan Sheridan, Dunica Maher. There's good lads coming through the system there. So that's a tricky game.
Yeah.
What do you think?
No, Churchill are a club. I can remember underage, 7 or 8 years ago, Churchill used to play Legion at the 12 and 14 level, and I was very impressed with them. And obviously that is starting to come true. We see a lot of their players are represented on the St. Brendan's under 21 team.
Yeah.
And much like Listroy, they've had a very good county league campaign.
Yeah.
So they're coming in.
And they're a good centre of population, just like
Listroy.
Listroy.
Yeah, they're coming in with kind of confidence and stuff like that, you know. So I nearly with home advantage I go with Churchill.
Hugh Linehan and young Keane McKenna as well. There's some good young players there in that Churchill team. Joe is a very massive player.
If he got injured, he would be in Kerry contention. John Kennedy.
I've seen Dowd playing a couple of times. I'll tell you, under John Halpin, they're transformed really. They're really tough nut to crack. They're well balanced. They have a very good defence led by Dunica Maher, young Sheridan as well, and you know the Connors. They're always tough championship campaigners. And Cormac Dillon, he's the scoring machine for them. You know, I give them the nod. I think Dowd will win this one.
You haven't tipped up a North Kerry team yet. Everyone the North Kerry team is going to win.
You have to be parochial.
Right, the Kerry Junior, just one word on it. My Van versus Cordell, that's on Saturday evening.
That could be the best game of the weekend.
Yeah, it probably could
Very
be.
difficult to call. I think my Van beat them in the group stages last year in my Van. So Cordell have to try and get a bit of revenge
they
there.
were very disappointing against Beale in the knockout game. Ultimately, he did it last year in Ballymac. Very disappointed with. But now they were missing
Philip O'Connor.
Philip O'Connor,
Yeah, Philip's back. Killian Denny will have to produce a big performance.
Yeah.
John knows how tough my Van are to beat at
my
home.
Van are tough, a lot of players, a lot of good young players.
Yes.
They'll be tough to beat
go
at
for
home.
my Van then?
I'm going for Cordell.
See, he's unpredictable when you least expect
I think
it.
they're battle hardened Cordell.
Did you take alcohol when we took the break?
This is a young my Van team, to be fair, and I think in Championship that could have.
And it's coming to the now or never stage for Cordell.
For Cordell,
Yeah. You're not in to manage them, or you're not doing anything work in the background.
No, I'm not.
That's okay.
No.
And who do you think?
Players of the quality now, Killian Denny can decide games like these, do you know? So that's why I'd be siding with Cordell and Philip O'Connor, of course, who's like an absolute greyhound. I'd say his GPS would blow any fella's GPS out of the water.
John, I'll show you going. Tarbert hate my Van, of course, and my Van hate Tarbert. So you go Cordell.
So I'll have to go, just because the two boys are going Cordell, I'll have to go my Van. So
Well, you're not going to be allowed in at home. Now, also, we have on Saturday, Beale, I suppose I should call them, and Finoog.
Bale are big favourites there. Finoog are building, young team. They're getting better under Eamon is involved, and Reggie Galvin. They're big improvement from Finoog, but I don't think they're ready to take out a team like Bale. Rob Stack, they've unfinished business. They feel that they could have beat Tarbert in last year's final. They lost by a point. They're one of the big favourites to go on now and win it this year. They won't slip up against Finoog.
Would you think the same?
Yeah, Finoog. I do know that Finoog were a very good Division 1-2 team back in the day. They've dropped a bit, and obviously now they've decided they must build it back up. But probably Bale are a bit ahead of the curve for them.
Two North Kerry teams, so you can't go wrong this time.
I'd be going for Bale, I think. They're just a bit ahead of Finoog. Finoog are making strides under M. Fitzmaurice. They've settled the wagons in Finoog. They have a lot of young fellas, and they went down and they're on the way back up.
Yeah.
But Bale for me.
Knocknagoshel in Lisbon, another Sigmund in Lisbon, quite a good side. Knocknagoshel, of course, Winter North Kerry.
This is up there. This is up there with the My Van Cordell as really.
Knocknagoshel lost the final, obviously, to Lisdon Limits, but after replay. But what two great days we had in North Kerry. Late in the year watching them play.
Knocknagoshel are definitely targeted in this competition as well. They've been probably up with Bale. They've been the most impressive team so far in the group stages, putting up big scores. Edmund Walsh is back. All the Walshes are playing. They have some very good young players coming up through the system in Knocknagoshel. Conor Cahill, there's good forwards there. The Bells, the McGilligans, Lisbon. They gave Tarbert an awful rattle in the quarterfinal last year in Tarbert. Tarbert very lucky to get over the line against them by 3 points. They really impressed. The O'Canedas, Marco Manin is playing really well again. But Knocknagoshel is a really hard home venue to try and get a victory from outside. I'll go for Knock to win.
Car park.
I'll go for Knock to win.
That's right. That's right.
And obviously, they were in dreamland last year, getting to North Kerry final, getting to bringing it to replay. It probably energised the club.
Yes.
And they've used that energy this year now. And as you said, they're targeting that competition. So
Shane O'Connell doing really well there. And John, you obviously played. Do you played with his dad, Jack?
Jack,
So there's a big community spirit there in Knocknagoshel.
They got promoted. Did they win Division 5 or 6? One of those, didn't they?
I think
so.
Yeah. No, I think Knock will be very hard to beat.
Final one for tonight, folks, is Sneem Derrynane versus Kilgarvan, and I'll go to Enda because he's an expert in Kilgarvan. He's been down there with the Healy Raids counting sheep, and so let's see. Sneem Derrynane are very good. They've got some lovely players, and despite the fact that there'd be a population sort of lack of players, it would be a small panel probably. They've been playing very well in the league, I've noticed, and they've done well in this championship as well. Do you think home advantage might swing it for them?
Well, do you know, what I think sometimes the true essence of Kerry football is South Kerry. They don't be looking at the O'Neills, they're looking up, they're kicking the ball all the time. And a lot of the South Kerry teams play that way. Sneem Derrynane seem to be adapting that mode this year as well too. Now Kilgarvan obviously have lost a few players and will be struggling at this maybe to keep up the steam.
And they play the hurling as well, of course.
That's right, and they've dual commitments there, and hot night with training and stuff.
And they were very lucky to get this. They got this. They were
down scoring difference.
And scoring difference where they thought they were out, but they were beaten by 13 points or 11 points.
Yeah, and if Scartaglen had beaten Skellig Rangers by another point or two, Scartaglen would have got through.
So Kilgarvan are really lucky to be there, but sometimes
you can take it from there then.
But I would be fancying Sneem Derrynane.
Keep an eye out for a player called Oisin Brian. He's playing really well at the moment for Sneem Derrynane, putting up big scores. Ian Galvin is another well-experienced forward. I would expect Sneem Derrynane to win.
There's a McGillicuddy there as well. So, John, final one?
Yeah, I think Sneem Derrynane as well. Kilgarvan have done well to get to this stage, I think, of the competition, to be fair to them. But Sneem Derrynane for me.
Lovely. So that's it, folks. We've gone through senior. We look back. We went through the Kerry Petroleum Intermediate Championship. We went through the Kerry Petroleum Premier Junior, and we went through the Junior. So we've covered a lot of territory. And at the start, we obviously spoke about what happened to the county board. We spoke about Australia, and Jimmy Darcy ranted about everything. So Jimmy,
combusted.
Jimmy ranted about so much that he's no longer in the panel. He's self-combusted, and he's now in ashes somewhere. So we'll see what we can do. It's a wet evening. I'd like to thank the patience, number one, of my panel, and that's John O'Dowd. Thank you very much. I'll have to carry you home, but sure, what are Enda, thanks. It's your first time on this panel and probably your last. Not harsh because we don't want you, but because you probably won't want to. Because on timekeeping we're a small bit slack, as John Kennedy knows, because he came through traffic and delayed us a half an hour. But thanks very much, John. In his absence, we'd like to thank Jimmy. And entertaining was Jimmy this evening. Thank our producer and cameraman, that is JC O'Shea, John C. We're here in his premises. I would like to thank himself and his mother Joan for their hospitality towards us this evening. We'll be back, of course. These games are all the Intermediate and the Premier Junior are all live and exclusive on Club at the weekend,
and two of the junior games. Those two big ones, my Van, Cordle and Knocknagoshel Lisball.
Right, so John will be busy, man, and we'll all be kind of busy over the weekend covering all those games. So we'll come back next week and tell you what we thought, because it's then getting to the semi-final stage and getting very serious. The draw is on again, John, remind us.
Sunday evening in JP Sullivan Park after the Lown Rangers versus Glenflesk match.
Quarter to 6 maybe.
Yeah, around that time.
Around quarter to 6, because the game will be over probably at that stage. So that's it for our Kingdom Calls for this week. This is Mort Murphy signing off, and we'll talk to you again next week.